For far too long, D.C. politicians have gotten away with measuring their personal value and worth by how much of other people's money they give away. And for far too long, they self-righteously have opined that this spending was for altruistic purposes given out of care and compassion. For far too long, they've been more concerned with looking like they cared than having enough care and concern to actually do the due diligence to ensure that the tax dollars were being used wisely and effectively. And for far too long, those of us who've worked to uncover waste, fraud, and abuse have had to deal with what amounts to an unconstitutional fourth branch of permanent bureaucracy that has too often worked to ignore, obfuscate, delay, and frustrate our efforts to bring transparency and oversight. Over the last few weeks, the DOGE effort has begun to uncover not only how massive the waste, fraud, and abuse is, but also the extent at which D.C. politicians and too many obstinate bureaucrats have coordinated to create what is essentially the largest money laundering scheme in history. And while Americans have been working to make ends meet.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Conservative Chronicle. Today we're diving into the largest money laundering scheme ever uncovered. It's about massive corruption, international fraud, and misuse of taxpayer dollars. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for the latest updates. Let's get right into it. This money laundering scheme spans across countries and involves government employees, fueled by fraudulent activity inside the United States and overseas. Trillions of dollars are at stake, funneled out of government programs meant to help people. During the pandemic, $1 trillion was stolen from government assistance programs. 70% of that money left the United States, ending up with criminal organizations in Romania, Russia, and North Korea. This is a global problem, and it's getting worse. So who's behind all of this? Believe it or not, this isn't just about small-time fraudsters. We're talking about organized criminal groups, both domestic and international. Some use stolen funds to finance drug trafficking, cyber attacks, and efforts to destabilize democracies. Whether it's manipulating unemployment claims or selling sensitive data,
They have been using taxpayer dollars to fund unnecessary, egregious, and even evil things here at home and around the world. Thankfully, in DOGE, we have a president bringing the leadership needed and a focused effort, along with the talent, technology, tools, and transparency to this waste, fraud, and abuse. And to those who would stand opposed to this effort, I would just point out, while it's understandable to find waste, fraud, and abuse that has grown and metastasized in this government even over decades, certainly accelerated over the last few years, to continue to protect it is corruption. I want to thank the chair for beginning this war on waste on this side of Pennsylvania Avenue and bringing together this committee. This effort is so important as we work to relieve the American people of this burden of waste, fraud, and abuse. Mr. Talcove, you mentioned in your written statement and talked about it in your statement at the beginning that this waste, fraud, and abuse is a national security threat. And certainly one of the challenges facing us that is a national security threat is our fiscal situation. And so we have got to find ways to find savings to the American people in order to bring confidence to the bond markets, to put our country on a fiscal footing, and to reverse the curse, so to speak, that we are placing on our children and our grandchildren. You mentioned a couple threats, though. You mentioned internal threats. You said that these cases involve government employees, individuals entrusted with administering benefits who, instead of using their positions to approve fraudulent claims, override security controls, or even sell sensitive claimant information for profit. Now, this is not every federal employee for sure, but within the context of people who are trying to give their best effort, we have an internal threat. But you also mentioned transnational fraud rings, terrorist organizations, nation states, North Korea, nuclear weapons programs funded by our tax dollars, China, Nigeria, Iran, Romania, Russia, not our friends necessarily that are being funded.
Payers are footing the bill. Technology is helping uncover fraud schemes. Data analytics, advanced algorithms, and AI tools trace stolen money and identify fraud patterns. These innovations help investigators crack down on schemes, but it's an ongoing fight. Criminals adapt quickly. So what can be done to stop this? We need stricter controls on government spending and more transparency in taxpayer dollar allocation. Agencies must be held accountable, and efforts to root out threats. Here's where you come in. Raise awareness and pressure lawmakers to act. share this video, and demand better accountability. This money laundering scheme is unlike anything we've ever seen. It's about national security, corruption, and the misuse of funds meant to help those in need. By staying informed and demanding accountability, we can end these fraudulent activities. If you found this video eye-opening, click subscribe and like the video. Hit the bell for notifications. Thanks for watching.